everybody, Karen here, and today I'm going to be making a wall hanging using Our Family Story from Crafter's Companion. Now, when you get these dies, they all come in a big sheet like this, and you have to separate them and put them on the magnet sheets that come with them. This is a great way to organize them, and I'm really glad they put these in here. The sheets are nice and thick, and I like them a lot. Now, once you get them organized, and it did take me about 15 minutes or so to do it, you still can mix and match, and that allows you to adjust the heights and shapes and the outfits of the people to make them match your family. Now, I want to talk about the skin tones first, because sometimes coloring skin tones can be a little tough. Now, when I color skin tone, I like to start with cream colored paper, and let me tell you why. Because when you start trying to put some shading in skin, if you are using a white piece of paper where you want to leave the highlight, it's going to look white. But if you use this cream color as your base, and when you start going around and you start wanting to leave a little highlight there in the middle, and it doesn't matter if you're doing a light or a dark skin. Let me just color this circle really quick. The highlight will not be stark white. It will be the cream. And it doesn't matter if you're doing a dark skin tone or a light skin tone, that still is going to be the way you want your highlight to be. So I just think it makes it go a lot faster and a lot easier to make the blending when you're doing skin, if you start off with a cream colored cardstock. Alright, now let's talk about these dies and just how they generally cut out. Alright, so I have a piece of blue, and I'm going to cut out a pair of pants. Now, I'm just going to cut this out really quick in the MIDI. I have a mini folder. I'm going to run this through real quick. I'm going to leave it in there. Let me move these up out of the way. Put that down there. I'm going to grab a piece of scrap. Now I'm going to bring in some blue ink. This is In the Navy by Gina K. And this is a great denim color. And I'm going to use the smallest brushes that I have. I have these little ones. And I am going to go over all the holes to put the detail in these pants. Just like that. So now I'm going to take the pants out. So now we have this. But we can even add some more shading here. Because when you have jeans, you have spots that are darker than others. I'm going to go along the edge here. Put a little bit darker here. And here. And like that. And your pants are that easy. So all the dies are like that, and even the hair is like that. So let's take this hair one. This is an older child hair, and it just has 4 hairstyles on it. So I'm going to start off with my cream colored paper. I'm just going to cut that. Put the navy to the side. And run this through. And all the hair will be the same. Alright, so I'm going to put these back in here so I can put some highlights in the hair, because it being like this is not very exciting. Alright, so let's talk about this one first. So let's say you want to do some hair that is kind of a lightish color brown. So I'm going to bring in some honey mustard. And I'm just going to put a little bit of color in there. Just like that. Now that looks a little stark. Bring this up because it's tiny. That looks a little stark. So I am going to go around here and soften the whole thing. Because where I have the ink, it's still going to be darker. But now I'm just going to kind of put a little bit more shading in here. Like that. So now I have some blonde hair. Now let's say you had a redhead in your family. I'm going to bring in some faded brick. And usually people with red hair, their hair is not red. So I'm going to start off with this blonde. And I am just going to go around this with a little bit of red. Kind of blend this in a little. And if it gets a little too red, I can come back with the honey mustard. Make it a little browner. And now we have a nice reddish color. We can put a little more red in there if we need to. You can do this to match anybody's skin, anybody's hair, like that. All right, so that was blonde. Now we have some red. So let's say you have some brown hair. So let's put this one back in. That one is this one. All right. I'm going to bring in some warm cocoa. Like that. Get rid of the warm cocoa, bring in the honey mustard back. And that gives me kind of a light brown. Put a little bit more of the warm cocoa in there to make it a little darker. There you go. Have some highlights in there. Now let's say you want to do some salt and pepper hair. Alright, so there's a couple ways you can do the salt and pepper hair. So you can either start off with the same color you started off with everybody else's. And let's do this one this time. Actually, let's do this one. Put that in there. Color dark. You can make dark hair. And if you want to put some gray in it, we're going to put this back in here. Get that in there. And I am going to bring in some white pigment ink. And I am going to go over the top here. There we go. Now we can blend that a little bit. Now you have some grayish hair. Now if you say, well, that's a little bit too gray, you can come back in with the black. Like that. There you go. But you always want to kind of blend those lines in a little bit because they do look a little harsh. And just kind of blend until you get the shade you want. So that's how the hair works. So you can really make any color hair that you want. Now, so we have pants, we have hair. So let's now put all this to the side and talk about how we can mix and match these bodies. So let's start off with talking about the adults. So first I want to make an adult male. So I'm going to start off with the pants here, the regular jeans. I have the long sleeve shirt, which is this sweater right here. I have a head, and I have some hair. And I will need some arms. Now for this person here in my family, this person is lighter complected, but not light. So I am going to use E11, and I am going to go around and take my cream colored paper and just color this a little bit. And I'm also going to color the hands. Now most of this is going to be covered, so I'm only going to do the hands. I want to make sure I'm doing the right sides of the hands here, because there is a left and a right. There we go. There we go. So that's kind of close to that person. So I'm going to bring some glue. I'm going to put a little bit of glue across here. I'm going to put the shirt here. Now here is the first place where you can adjust the height. If you have a shorter person in your family, you just bring this shirt down a little bit. If you have a taller person, you're going to want to bring it to the top. Now I'm kind of fortunate here where 4 of the people are about the same height. So that's going to make this a little bit easier. So now I have the headpiece. Now I'm going to glue the hair onto the head. Like so. And here again, if you need to make your person slightly taller, you can move this hair up just a little smidge here, and you can make your person just a little bit taller. And it also makes their hair look shorter. So all of these, you can slide them up and down to make them a little taller or a little shorter, depending on what you need. Now when you put the shoulders on, you do want to make sure that you match it up with the neck. So this really only goes in one place. Now you can bring their neck down a little bit if you want, but you need to make sure that your shoulders here are below your shirt. Now if you bring the neck down a little bit, it is going to make the shirt look like it has a bigger collar on it. So there we go. There's that. Alright, so now we need arms. Now when you put the arms on, make sure the thumbs are facing toward the body. You don't want to put your arms on backwards. And I find it easier when you have a little piece like this to lay the person on top and stick it that way. There we go. Now we'll do the other arm. And stick it. And you just want to make sure the arms aren't sticking out. There we go. Now he just needs his shoes. Alright, so here is his 2 feet. And his 2 shoes. Now I'll attach his little shoes. Just going to attach them to the bottom here. Now the shoes, the little curved part, I like on top. Go. There's one. And here's 2. Just make sure his shoe is straight here. That one's a little crooked. There we go. Just like that. Now we just have to attach his legs Now I'm trying to decide. This bony ankle part I think should be to the outside. So just like I did the arms, I'm going to put some glue on the legs. Let me spread this out a little bit. And I'm going to attach this one first. And here again, depending on how short you make the pants, you can get yourself a couple extra millimeters on how tall this person is. Alright. Make sure his feet are straight. And there is our first man. Alright, so he is all done. Alright, now let's make a man, but slightly different this time. So we have his head, we have his arms, so here's his feet, and here's his shoes. This time he's going to have brown shoes. Now this person is going to be a little bit older, and I am going to use the senior adult. So I have the bigger pants, I have a bigger shirt, I have short hair, which I have made salt and pepper. Alright, so let's start with gluing the hair on. Alright, I'm going to glue the hair. Now this person is pretty much the same height as my little first figure here. So I want to make sure I'm making these the same height. So let's glue the head on. Here we go, like that. I'm going to put the arms. All we need is the hands. Now this hand here, I'm going to angle a little bit, because I may have him holding hands with the person next to him. Here we go. So now I want this person to be the same height. So I'm going to put the shoes on, but this time around, there is a little bit of detail in these shoes. And I'm going to do it this time, and we'll see if it makes a difference. So I'm going to put these back in here. Now when you're doing this at home, you're going to want to put this detail in here before you take them out, because they are kind of tiny. Alright, so I push those back in there. I'm going to bring in the chocolate brown. And I'm going to put some brown in there. Now the other way you can do this is just take an art liner and go like that. There we go. So now we have some plain shoes, and we have some shoes with some detail on them. Let's go ahead and glue these to the feet. Make sure that's straight. There we go. So let's look at the difference here. Personal preference, whatever you want the shoes to look like. Alright, so now that I start putting this together, I realize that this is going to be a lot shorter person, and I need my people to be the same size. So I went and made 2 more shoes and 2 more feet. Now I'm going to make the shoes a little different this time. So I put in the details for the shoes like I did last time, but I'm going to color the bottom so it looks like the shoes have black soles. Just to show you another variation. Alright, so let me glue this to these other pair of pants that I have. First, let's glue the shoes. There's one shoe. And a second shoe. And attach the shoes to the bottom of the pants. There is one. There is two. Make sure they're straight. There we go. But what I will do is I'm still going to use the bigger top. So this way I can still make them the same height, but they are a different shape. There you go. Alright, so here we have a more slender person and we have a little bit bigger person. But they're still the same height. Alright, so I have one more man to make. So I already have this one partially done. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue him on. I'm not going to put his arms on yet. So I'm going to wait till I'm attaching them together because I want him holding the little girl's hand. So he's not getting arms yet. Alright, so those are the three men that I need. Now I need a child. Now I decided to use the oldest child because that was the size that I needed, this one here. And I needed the longer hair, and the person that I'm making this for, it has blonde hair. And I put her in a dress because she prefers a dress. And if I put her in pants, she'd probably say something about it. So she needs some arms and some legs. So we have one leg here. And this is the other leg. Now this person is very fair complected, so I'm not adding any color to this at all. Alright, so I am going to, let's see, the man without the arms is her father. So I want to size this properly up against him. So she needs to be about here. So I am going to put a little bit of glue on top here. I'm going to put him next to here. And make sure her legs are straight. And I will make her as tall as I can. Like that. So once I put her head on, alright, now her arms are not going to go on until later also because she will be holding hands with people. Now here, let's get her shoes on though. Before I get ahead of myself, let's get the shoes on. Right, I'm just going to put black shoes on her. There we go. And here's her other shoe. A little wax pickup tool will be handy with this because they are kind of tiny. Alright, so now when you are using the long hair, you don't need to use a head. But you can use the length of this hair to either make your person taller or shorter. You have a little bit of leeway here. So I need her to be about here. So I'm going to put some glue on here. And her hair is long, so I'm going to bring her down to here. Here we go. That's about right for her. And her arms will wait until I put her on the mat. Alright, so we will put her back in here. So now I need to make this man's wife. Now they are about the same height. So I want to flip him over and point something out. So the pants for the adult man and the adult woman are the same size. They're the same length. But the shirts are much smaller, because look at the difference between this adult male shirt and the female shirt. The female shirt is a lot shorter. So I am going to need to use the male shirt to make my people the same size. And I'm going to give her brown shoes. All right, but this time around, I want to put white on the shoes. Now, I know this isn't going to look like much until it dries, because this is a white gel pen, but when it goes on kind of clear, and it doesn't really show up white until it dries. So let me get these out of here. And I'm going to put some more white across the bottom. There, I'm going to let that dry for a second. And as it dries, the white will show up. Alright, so let's put all these dies back here before I get carried away. Alright, so I want the woman to be the same height as the man. So let's start by putting her feet on here. So let's grab her feet, which I've already colored. So we'll put some glue on this side, some glue on this side. We will put her one shoe on, her one leg on. We'll put the other leg on. In her little skinny jeans. Make sure that's all behind there. Alright, so let's put her shoes on. Now, these are going to be chunky sneakers, because this is the man's shoe. Because the women's shoes were both high heels, and that's not really what I wanted here. So she's going to have on chunky sneakers. Go. Much easier using the tweezers. There we go. Now let's put her next to him. Now we'll use the bigger sweater to make their shoulders the same, because they are the same height. And here we go. Just like that. So now we have the baggier sweater with the jeans, women's jeans, and short sleeve shirt. Alright, so now I need to do the mom's hair. Now the mom has kind of reddish, blondish hair. So I'm going to start off with putting some lines in here. I'm going to do it with the marker this time to show you can do it with a marker too. There we go. Now I'm going to bring in the brick red, and I'm going to put some red in here. That looks pretty close to her hair. Alright, so let's put this back and get her hair on there and get this family put together. Alright, so they need to be the same height. So to line them up next to each other. And we'll put some glue here on the bottom. And put the head where they're about the same. Like that. There we go. So here's the mom. Nope, she needs her arms. Let's see, we will give her one arm, because this arm will be holding his hand. Let me get them on the board. So let's give her an arm. And we'll put this over here. So now she's done here. The dad, we can put one arm on him. His arm will be over here. And leave him be. Right, he needs to be longer. Because his shirt is short sleeves. Alright, so now we have these three families ready to go, and put the girl in the middle when we put her on the board. So I have one last person to construct, and it's myself. So this time around I decided to go with the men's pants because I didn't want them as skinny as these, because I'm not that skinny. I'm going to use this senior sweater, which is this one here. This is the sweater, because it is a little bit bigger than the sweater here. I'm going to use black shoes with white soles. I have the female legs, the female arms, and the reason why I didn't want to use the senior legs is it was just a little too boxy. I don't know, I just didn't like the way it looked. So, but I need to make myself shorter. So, first thing I want to do is get the legs on. So first let me get the shoes. I'm going to work my way up here. So we're going to put some shoes. Let me grab my pickup tool here. Put one shoe on. Put the other shoe on. Alright, now I'm going to put the pants on. If I can get the glue off my hands. We'll put some glue here. And some glue here. And we'll put that there. That there. Yeah, so just because pieces are on male, female, whatever, doesn't mean anything. Just use it for the person that you want to make. So see, this just looks like these are baggier pants, which is how I wear my pants. Alright, so now I need to make myself look shorter, because I am definitely shorter than my husband. So I'm going to bring this down here and make it look like my shirt is longer, because shirts do fit me longer. And my head will be here. So you know what? I'm going to put my head on first. So then I can decide where exactly I want to place the sweater. Get that excess glue off of there. Get the feet even. So here. And we'll come down probably about there. Maybe even a little lower. Let's see. That would be about right. Alright, so this is going to be me. So let me put one of the hands on. The hand will be on here. Now I kind of want to put it, no, that's not going to look right with that sweater. So I think my hands are just going to be down. And let's put this one on. Alright, so now we have the whole family completed. So let's put everybody back over here. And now let's do the background. Alright, so here is the canvas I'm going to be putting everybody on. Now I also have a sign I made on my computer. So that is going to go on top. The people are then going to go across the bottom. So I need my ground to be behind the tree. So probably about here. Alright, so let's move everybody off. And I'm going to continue my line across here. So that's where my ground is going to be. So now I'm going to get some ink so I can ink this background. So I'm going to measure 3.5 inches from the bottom. And I'm going to put some painter's tape on here. And make sure it's straight. I'm going to go 3.5 inches on this side. And now I should have a straight line. There we go. So now I can ink all this down here. Alright, so I think I'm going to start with some honey mustard. And I'm going to go along the grain here. Now I think I will bring in some of this darker, let's see, this is chocolate truffle. And just hit it in places. Just to put a little bit darker in here. And maybe a little craft. That'll be a nice wood floor. I will lift this off. I am going to erase my mark here. Come across here. And let's tape this down. Ideally, you would let that ink dry a little bit. I'm just going to tuck this behind so it stays in place because it doesn't want to stick to the wet ink. So now the wall. What color to make the wall? I think I'm going to go with shades of blue. So I'm going to start off with this Blue Lagoon. I'm thinking I'm going to bring in some sea glass. I'm going to bring in some ocean mist. Now if you want, you can bring in a brush and kind of blend this all out. Come down here, make it a little darker on the bottom. And I think that's probably going to be fine once it dries. Alright, let's do the big reveal. Here we go. Here's our background. Now there is a little bit of a separation here, so I'm just going to come in here a little bit. A little bit of ink. See if I can get rid of that line a little bit. Just kind of fade that out. There we go. That'll be fine once it dries. Alright, now I'm going to give this about 10 minutes to dry before I start gluing things on here. Alright, so while the canvas continues to dry, I'm going to go ahead and put the Christmas tree together. And like I said, this is a Christmas tree that I have had for years. I believe it's Crafter's Companion. And dab, dab, dab. And I'm just going to slide this on. Let's see, top part goes there. And you go there. I have used this tree so many times. Alright, the star will go on top. And this is just mirror card. All right. I think I'll put a couple gold ornaments on here. Maybe one here, 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 and here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. Let me dump these out, because there's different sizes in here. And we'll put one here. There we go. And just put them all on. Easy peasy. And one more up here. There we go. Now we have a nice decorated Christmas tree. There we go. And let me put these away. Alright, now let's get everybody placed on here. Alright, so the tree I'm going to put here in the middle. Now I think I've decided I'm not going to have anybody holding hands, so I'm just going to finish putting their arms on here. That way I can have a be able to put everybody where I need to. Alright, there's one. Now here's my granddaughter. Oh wait, now you've gotten a little zealous here. There we go. Wipe some of that glue off. She has short sleeves on here. Make sure her arms are even. All right. I will put a little glue on the shirt, since that is a short sleeve shirt. And line up the arm. Yep, a little easier to do it that way. Make sure the arms are straight. Okay. All right, now let's get everybody on here. All right, so we have my daughter-in-law, my son, and their daughter. All right, I have me, my husband, and our other son. And the tree will be here. Now I'm thinking if I move us up a little bit, I could then take the Ebeling sign and put it on the bottom. I think that's what I'm going to do. So we'll just move everybody up a little bit. Alright, now I'm going to curve this a little bit. I don't want this to be too flat. Yep, I can use a little more glue here. There we go. I'm going to take some foam, put it down the middle here, curve my tree. So when I put it on here, there we go. All right. Now I think all of us are also going to get a little piece of foam behind the top of our bodies. Because if you look at this now, it looks like we're glued to the background. And that just never really looks quite right. So what I'm going to do, and this is the thicker foam, since I'm not really worried about mailing this or anything, I have 1/8 of an inch thick. And I am going to put this in the center of everybody right here. Have a little piece for my granddaughter. And my younger son. And a piece for me. And a piece for my husband. Alright. I think that will be a lot better. We'll just give it a lot more depth. You'll see in a second here how much better this looks. So this is going to be down here. Yep. Alright, so let's start gluing everybody down. So I'm only going to glue down the feet. And the rest of it will be held by the foam. So here's my older son. And my granddaughter. And my daughter-in-law. There we go. You can see, go back, rewind the video, and look at what this looked like when it was all flat compared to what this looks like now. And you'll see a huge difference. My younger son. Here. And me. All right. And lastly, my husband. That does not want to stick. Let's put some extra glue on there. There we go. And just glue the feet. And there we go. Alright, so now just to decide where I want to put this. So let's put this together. I am going to put this on foam. Once again, I'm going to use the 1/8 foam. And we'll put one across here in the middle. And we'll put one here. And one across the bottom. So everybody's stuck down here. Now I am going to put some glue on here just to make this slide, just in case I don't stick it down in the right place the first time. Right, and this was something I just did on my computer and then cut it out. But any type of lettering will work, whatever you have. Okay. Now, the top or the bottom? Let's see here. I can put this right here. which I think looks fine. I don't like it at the top. I think I'm going to leave it down here. And I know I will cover some of the shoes, but that's fine. I'll bring it down about here. You know what? I'm thinking I want this on foam. Alright, put one piece there. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that off screen. So I put 2 strips of foam here. Push this up because this is going to be a one-time go. And it looks like that's in the middle. Maybe a little higher. There we go. There we go. There we all are. Now it's more dimensional than just gluing everybody down. Make sure everybody's stuck here. I think this is still a little wet. So that has not wanted to stick. So let me put a little glue here. There we go. Okay. So there we have it. Our family. Mixing and matching. Using women parts, men parts, older people parts, younger people parts. Kind of mix it all up together to make the people the heights and the shapes that you need. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment and consider subscribing to my channel. And until next time, stay crafty.